Hi, boys and girls. Happy Monday, and it's Crazy Hair Day. That's why I have my hair like this. And so in honor of Crazy Hair Day, I thought we would read Crazy Hair Day for our story today. So let's get started. Stanley Birdbon woke up early. Bald Eagle Elementary School was celebrating Crazy Hair Day, and Stanley couldn't wait. They had celebrated Pajama Day, Twin Day, and 60s Day. Stanley's favorite was Twin Day because he and his best friend, Larry Finchfeather, had worn the exact same thing to school that day. Stanley was ready. He had rubber bands, he had styling gel, and to make his hair perfect, Stanley had 2 cans of Halloween hairspray. Stanley's mother knew just what to do. She wrapped, she dipped, and to make his hair perfect, she sprayed Stanley's hair bright orange and bright blue. Ta-da! Said Stanley. I'm a work of art. You are going to be late if you don't hurry up, said his mother. So Stanley rolled his rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped the tops of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. I bet Larry Finchfeather will have the craziest hair in the whole school, said Stanley. As he walked towards the classroom, he heard the teacher talking. Now remember, boys and girls, said Mr. Winger, Crazy Hair Day is next Friday. And everybody stopped. And everybody stared, and Stanley felt sick. Larry Finchfeather said, "Is that a hair do or a hair don't?" And everybody laughed and pointed at Stanley, and he ran to the bathroom. That was not nice, boys and girls. A few minutes later, Stanley heard someone come in. Hey, it's me, Larry Finchfeather. The Larry Finchfeather who just made fun of me in front of the entire class, said Stanley. I was only teasing. I didn't mean to be mean. Well, some days, said Stanley, you tease me too much. Mr. Winger said he wants me to try and be a peacemaker instead of a troublemaker. And he wants me to bring you back to class. I'm not going, said Stanley. But if you stay in here, then you're going to not be in the class picture. The class picture? Oh, no, said Stanley. I thought that was next Friday. Crazy Hair Day is next Friday, said Larry. Today is school picture day. And Stanley rolled his rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped the top of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. So Larry Finchfeather suggested that Stanley try washing his hair in the sink. It won't help, said Stanley. Halloween hair color will last for 5 days. Well, it really doesn't matter. It's only your hair, Larry told him. If you don't come out of here by the time math is over, I'm coming to get you. You can't stay in here all day. And it was very quiet after Larry Finchfeather left. And Stanley wondered if maybe he could spend all day in the bathroom. He could eat his lunch, he could draw pictures, and he even timed himself to see how fast he could flush all the toilets. 32.5 seconds, he shouted. Woohoo! A new school record by me. And Stanley had counted up to 121, 122, 123 drops of water from the leaky faucet when Fairy Finchfeather came back. Beep, beep, time's up. Let's go, Larry announced. It's picture time. If I'm in it, I'm going to look like the class weirdo, said Stanley. Remember 60s Day when Mr. Winger had the flu but came in anyway? Said Larry. He said the day wouldn't be the same unless we were all together. So you have to come. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to fix your hair. So Larry Finchfeather left, and Stanley Birdbaum thought about 60s Day, when Mr. Winger had taught them all those great old songs. He remembered how on Pajama Day, everybody in class had worn PJs and slippers. Then Stanley imagined what his class picture would look like without him, and that made him sad. He decided to go back to class. To keep from being nervous, Stanley made up a song, crazy hair, how I wish it wasn't there. And Stanley felt someone touch his shoulders. I was just coming to get you, said Larry Finchfeather. What if they laugh at me? What if they point? Oh, said Stanley. Everything is going to be just fine, said his friend Larry. I promise. And Stanley stood in front of the classroom, and everybody stopped, and everybody stared. And Stanley rolled his rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped the top of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. And everybody in his class, boys and girls, put funny things on their heads. The teacher has a globe. This little boy has pencils. This little boy has a book. That girl has a garbage can. This other little boy has a garbage can. That little boy has the fish. So they all made Stanley feel better about his crazy hair day. And I hope you like my crazy hair day. And I hope you enjoyed our story. I hope you have a good Monday. And I will see you serendipity boys and girls tomorrow. Bye.